Hello, good morning. Welcome to the second info session for the SOS2LearnDBS CLed open call. Talk with us via chat if you need to let us know that you are there. You can also find the Q&A on your upper bar to have any type of questions throughout the session, and we will try to answer as much as we can via text, but we will also discuss the ones that are more complex orally, let's say. So, good morning. The agenda for today, first of all, we will start with a brief introduction to the project, to the SOS2LearnDBS project, and to the CLed call. Then we will present to you some, oh, you are hearing music?
No.
Is everything okay?
Yes, it's just your voice.
Okay.
I think this is from another source.
Okay, if the others can also let us know if everything is okay with the sound, we appreciate that.
Yes, everything is okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Okay, so then we will present you project-related initiatives, just for you to have some ideas about what this kind of community-led initiatives can be, and to have some insights, perhaps help you somehow in the preparation of your proposal. Then we will discuss a little bit the application online form that you have to where you need to submit your proposals, and we will open some Q&A as well. Then we will proceed presenting the technical annex and also open some Q&A, the budget templates, the evaluation criteria, and then at the end we will open the session for general Q&A and some conclusions at the end. So as I said in the beginning, you have the Q&A bar for you to start having your questions. So as you know, the SOS2LearnDBS is a project dedicated to restoring the ecosystems of the Danube River Basin and the Black Sea region through the active participation of local communities. So we are 12 partners implementing the project, and it is coordinated by Innova. I'm here representing Innova during the session, but also the other partners. Just a brief overview on what the CLed open call it is. So it is intended to be a set of community-led projects implementing innovative and replicable solutions. The projects can have between 18 to 30 months duration, and they should be implemented in the Danube and Black Sea region. The deadline for the open call is the 30th of March 2025, 5 o'clock CAT, and the projects should start in the September of 2026. Who can apply? So it should be a consortium form between 3 to 7 independent legal entities. The consortium leader must be based in the country, in one of the countries of the region, and needs to have a community local representative. So all of this is in our guidelines. You can click in here to get linked into the application guidelines, and it needs to be done via the online platform. So we will now proceed to the project relation initiatives. So I will give the floor to Lisa.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So I'm here to present the demo site by Danube for All for the Upper Danube. So just very briefly, the pressures that we have here is that the river profile is mostly regulated. There are quite a lot of disconnected side arms, and there's a power plant called Freudenau, and there's some sediment retention. And these pressures lead to erosion of the riverbed and the decrease of the water level. And also there's an increasing difference of water level and the floodplain forest. Just to give you an idea, so the demo site for the Upper Danube, as you can see on the map, is where there's also some conservation site and the National Park Donau. Sorry, clicking some pictures so you can see the actual location. And the planned measures are bank restoration, also lowering of the groin roots, creation of a backflow, and the improvement of the inflow area into the side arm. And the goals here are to get some free morphodynamic development of the riverbank, to create and enhance a back channel, and to also have an improved framework condition for potential follow-up projects and the promotion of characteristic habitats and flagship species. So this is just a very, very brief overview of the Upper Danube demo site. If you want to find more information, it's on the Danube for All website. And there you can also find more information on the two other demo sites, which are Middle and Lower Danube. And yeah, I will hand over to the next.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So now we have a project that is the Wet Rest project in the Middle Danube. So let me see that if Katarina is here to present.
Here.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead, Katarina.
So,
you can take control of the slides in the upper bar if you wish.
Okay. So the Wet Rest project, or Danube wetlands and floodplains restoration through systematic, community-engaged and sustainable innovative actions, is a project that is one of the 7 innovation projects that is supporting Danube Black Sea Lighthouse, and it is working to drive positive change in this vital region. Here you can see the Middle Danube demo sites, and municipality Draj is the main demo site. So for the activities, first also we had the preparation activities for the initial field observations, initial equipment testing, preparation of procurement process, and initial meeting with stakeholders to engage them in a project. And then in the implementation phase, we had hydrotechnical works in order to restore lateral canal in the area of Sharkany. Then we had a strategy for wetland improvement, green hatchery establishment, and monitoring activities. And in the next continuation phase, we have exploitation of the implementation results and preparation of the strategies through engagement of all key stakeholders. So first main activity is the establishment of green hatchery and first fish repopulation. So on the pictures you can see how the green hatchery was imagined and how it looks like now. So the hatchery has been designed to breed native fish species in an environmentally responsible manner by using renewable energy sources as solar panels and heat pumps. And also it was built by using natural, environmentally friendly and long-lasting materials in construction. And the facility produces fish without causing any damage to surrounding ecosystem, and annual production capacity will be around 102,000 and 1,500 kilograms of fish. And also it will allow students and researchers to explore innovative technologies in aquaculture and ecosystem management, and in integrating digital tools, environmental data analysis, and climate modeling to drive sustainable restoration efforts in Danube region. The second implementation was waterfall monitoring. So it is a good example of long-term biodiversity monitoring within wetland restoration project. Monitoring was carried out in site in Drž municipality through 17 field visits during 2025. And the monitoring combined field observations, seasonal analysis, spatial comparison between monitoring areas, and biodiversity indexes. And the monitoring links ecological observation with management measures such as habitat improvements and fish stocking, and allowing better understand of ecosystem responses. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We can open some Q&A for this if you have any questions to both Liz and Katerina. So we can add your questions into the Q&A section. Okay, so if you do not have questions, we will move on, but you are free to add your questions into the Q&A. Okay, so we move on into the application online form. So you can just click in there to open the link in your computers if you wish. So this is the only channel that you are allowed to use to submit your applications. So no other channels will be considered. Okay, so the application must be submitted through this online form. The online form, it's a set of 6 sections that have to be filled. So the first one is a set of consents that you need to agree with in order to proceed with your application. Then you have the proposal identification, the consortium details, the technical annex, the budget, the ethics, eligibility, and compliance. So for the proposal identification, you will have to fill in basic things about your proposal, like the project acronym, the project title, the implementation focus, the project duration that should be between 18 and 30 months, the number of consortium partners, the partners, the funding tier that you are applying, and to select at least one mission objective and one mission target that your proposal will contribute towards to. Then you have the consortium details, and for the consortium details, you need to fill the details for all the partners that constitute your consortium. So the first one should be the consortium leader, and you will have all the details to fill about the consortium leader, and the same for the other partners, as you can see in the images. Then you have to upload the technical annex. So we have a template that needs to be used for the technical annex, and the technical annex is basically where you will describe your proposal. It's your proposal, let's say. We will talk in a few minutes about this technical annex. It needs to be uploaded through this application online form, and it is the only way it will be considered. Okay. Then you will have the budget part. For the budget, you will need to fill out the total requested budget per partner, and you also need to upload the budget template that can also be found in the website of SOS2LearnDBS. You also have the link in here if you want to download it right away. It's also important for you to know that the only way for you to upload and to link the budget file to your proposal is via the uploading in here in the application online form. In addition, please be aware that all of these must be done in English, okay? So everything needs to be filled in English. The entire application online form, the technical annex, and the budget template as well. Otherwise, the proposal will not be eligible. And at the end, you will have a set of ethics, eligibility, and compliance for you to agree on. It's very important for you to read everything because before you agree to it, because this will be needed for the assignment of the subgrant agreement, okay? It's a set of requirements that you will need to comply with. So we can open some Q&A for the application online form. I don't know if you have any questions in the Q&A. I don't think so.
Just a note. Sorry, I was just going to ask if you have questions, please put them on the Q&A and not on the chat. And on the Q&A, please start a new topic once you make a question, because I've noticed that a few applicants have placed their questions on a reply for another question from someone else. So please just try to make them in a new post, so it's easier for us to see, because we weren't seeing these ones, but we will address them.
Okay, so we have, let me check the questions. We have Vlad. I saw your question, Vlad. It says, good afternoon, everyone. If we want to build an international consortium, including, for example, Romania and Croatia, is it allowed to create a consortium with partners from different areas of the Danube? In this case, from Lower Danube, Delta Danube, or Middle Danube? Does the leader of the consortium have to be from the same country as the selected pilot sites? Okay, so different questions in here. You can have different partners from different countries, and that is encouraged. So international consortiums are encouraged and well seen. The consortium leader must be from the country where the activities will be implemented. Okay, so it is not related with the other consortium partners. It's related to the implementation of the main activities. Thank you, Vlad. So I don't know if you have any more questions. So yes, the webinar record will be shared afterwards.
Yes, Katerina, there are some times questions hidden because of what Mariana was saying, because they are under the same topic. But there is one here about the flexibility in terms of number of pages in the application. It says the overall application has a fixed total length, 20 plus 5 pages, but chapter 2 alone covers several major components. And the question is, should applicants strictly respect the page limit per chapter, or is there some flexibility in redistributing content across chapters acceptable as long as the total length of the proposal is respected?
Yes, so you are free to use the total number of pages as you wish. This is just an indication of what should be like the perfect scenario, but of course we understand that sometimes we have more to say in one section than another, and it's fine as long as you keep the same total number of pages and as long as you address everything that needs to be addressed in each section.
Then, sorry, and I think after this, perhaps we have to move, but there is another question, which is, do we need to obtain a consent letter for each partner? And we are talking I suppose, in this stage, in the application stage.
A consent letter for the partners willing to participate in the proposal? No, not at this stage.
Okay, thank you. I suppose we can
We have a
move
question
on.
here of where can we upload the CVs? Do we have to zip them partner or in one folder for the whole consortium? Okay, let me just recheck that. I think you have a place to upload it in the application online form. Let me see.
It's right
So
there.
you have a part in there, and it can be like a PDF. Okay, you can make a PDF of all the CVs.
Per each
per each partner, because this is divided per partner. So for the same partner, if you want to upload the CVs of all the persons that will work in the project, you can make a PDF and upload it in here. Feel free to leave more questions. We will try to answer all of them via text, but we will move on to the other parts. And then if we have the time, we can redo these questions. Okay, go back to these questions. I see that some of you are doing networking in the chat, and it's okay. It's allow and encourage. If you need to use it, please go ahead and use this chat to network and find some partners. Okay, so we will move on into the technical annex. So you have the link in here. You can already download the technical annex if you wish, and open the template in your computer. So basically, the technical annex already includes, sorry, an index of what the proposal should contain. And right in the beginning, you have a part with instructions for you to fill the technical annex. Please remove that part when you are writing your proposal. The proposal should be divided in 4 sections, taking out, of course, the first part. There is a project identification and the partners identification. Then you have 4 sections. So the first one is the challenges and the project response. So this first part entails the context, why here and why now, and to explain the local and regional context and demonstrate why this is a community-led action and address genuine needs and challenges. Then you have the objectives, what you want to achieve. In here, you should state your project's main objectives clearly and concisely. You should use the SMART strategy. So each objective should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And for each objective, you should explain how it contributes to the mission ocean. Then you have the concepts and methodology, and in here you should explain how you will do the proposal. You should describe how you will implement your project to achieve the objectives and the innovation outlined in the previous sections. Then on the second part, you need to let us know how you plan to implement these activities. So you need to demonstrate how you have a realistic and well-organized plan and the necessary capacity to implement the activities in a successful way, of course. And you also need to explain what you will do, exactly who will do it, which partner will do it, and how you will manage the risks. Then on the following section, you have the impact, outreach, and sustainability of your proposal. And in this section, you should demonstrate how you will share your work with others, how you will ensure the long-term impact, and how you will enable broader learning and replication. So there's, and also you have, of course, space for annex, 1 page. It's optional, okay? But you can also include them. So for the technical annex, please make sure that you do not modify the structure of the template, okay? Do not modify the headers or the footer, okay? You also have on the instructions the rules for formatting, and these should be attained, okay? You also have in the template important notes for you to take into consideration that help you to make the proposal a success. And you also have tips to maximize that success. In addition to that, you have suggestion, and it's just a suggestion for page allocation. What you need to have into consideration is the total number of pages. So according to this, we will open now the questions and answers for the technical annex. Mariana, and then if you can guide me
Yes.
on
There are several questions here. Some of them, they are easy and the answers should be consulted in the call documentation and in the FAQ. Others are not exactly about the technical annex, but let's see if we can go through them.
Yeah.
There are partners sharing, organizations sharing contacts, which is very nice. So consent letters, it is one here about the partners, the number of applications where partners can participate. So the application guide says entities may participate in multiple proposals as part of different consortia. However, a single beneficiary can only participate in one funded project. This is a quotation from the call documents. Then the question, how will this be implemented in practice? If an organization participates in multiple proposals and more of these could be selected for support based on the evaluation results, then the partner with multiple participation would disqualify the lower ranking projects in which it participates, or the project might still be awarded, but the organization with multiple participation would be excluded from the awarded consortia. So it's this case where one organization is...
So this is a risk that you need to play with, I would say. So if several proposals with the same participants are funded or granted a funding, and you will go to the sub-grant agreement, and in there you will have to advocate, or you will have to choose one to proceed. Okay, so you will only be awarded with one. So in the sub-grant agreement, what we will do is check which participants are in multiple proposals, and then you need to choose one and the other falls. And then we go into the reserve list to see which other proposals we have in there. So I think this is a risk that the participants need to ponderate.
Yes. And we don't have yet answers on how exactly that will work. It will depend on the proposals itself. But please consider this is what we know for sure, and from the evaluation criteria, is that if you have a role that is of a higher role in all of those proposals, so a role where you are either the consortium leader or you are responsible to implement one of the main activities that the consortium is proposing to do, then yes, that your participation definitely hinders the possibility of the lower ranked proposal moving on. So if you are in two proposals and you have a major role on both, given that you are not to be funded on two proposals, then your participation on a second one does hinder, with a big role, hinders the possibility of the whole consortium to be funded. But again, this is this is what we have noticed from all the questions so far, but we cannot make any guarantees on exactly how that will go at this stage. It will always depend on the number of proposals and on the rankings of all of them. Trying to see here other questions that could be useful at this stage. We had here a question regarding if you can add partners to the form. You can add up to 7 partners to the application form. If you have already submitted the proposal, and that's why you are asking this, then you can't edit your proposal once that is submitted. We recommend that you start working on the application form on the EU survey and save everything that you do as a draft before submitting. That will be best so that you can keep making edits before you have all the details closed.
Just a little important note. So you will be able to save the proposal as a draft and to submit it several times until the due date. Okay, so when the due date is over, you will no longer be able to edit it. Okay, let's see if we have. Okay, there's a question here that is, are there any definitions for work packages, project phases, task groups to use in the work plan, or do we have the freedom how to call them? Are there any suggested number of work packages and phases? No, this is up to you to design your implementation work plan. Okay.
Katarina, another question here about the coordinator. If there are any specific criterion or recommendation for the project leader, apart from that it has to be based in the eligible country. For example, does it matter whether the project leader is the local municipality, technology provider, or an organization with strong experience in EU project management?
No, we do not have a guideline for that. Basically, the responsible the project, okay, and to make sure that everything goes according to plan, but we do not have a specific guideline of which type of entity the consortium leader should be.
Yes, I take this opportunity to invite everybody to check the FAQ, frequently asked questions. We will post the link there because some of your questions are already in the FAQ about the characteristics of the consortium, but the aspects that are not so objective, like is it valued that I put this or that, please understand that we cannot answer this type of questions. So we can only answer about the objective selection and evaluation criteria, but we will not tell you that it is more advisable for you to do this or that. And I will paste the link to the FAQ that you can also consult. There is one more about the budget, Katarina. I don't know if
yes,
you.
Before I move on, I just want to say something because I perhaps I didn't express well about the consortium leader. So the consortium leader must be based on the Danube region, on the Danube Black Sea region. Okay, it doesn't have to be on it doesn't have to be on the country that implements the activities. The one that must be from the country that implements the activities is the local representative. Okay. I'm sorry if I confuse you. I will paste these in the chat just to make sure that the message is clear now.
Regarding the budget, I will present the budget and some clarifications. So after I do that presentation, we answer that question that Mira had regarding the personal expenses. I think it works best like that. We just have another question regarding restoration activities, if there are specific byproducts that the project intends to valorize. We'll also go over the evaluation criteria, and we don't have a specific byproduct, a specific restoration activity that the project valorizes. What we valorize is the innovation, the way that involves community, the way that whatever you decide to do on your project contributes to the mission ocean goals and objectives. So therefore, we are not giving any priority on exactly what type of byproduct or not should be done there. Just make sure that whatever is done on the Danube basin. As I see here that you are using an example from Portugal in your post. So just make sure that everything that is done is implemented in the Danube basin, and that it is applicable to there, so that it makes sense for that basin, and it's not just a replication of something that works in another type of basin or sea. So if you agree, we should move on to the budget part, Katarina. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and I apologize to everyone that my camera is not working, as it suddenly broke down in the middle of this session. All right,
you can take control, Mariana, of the presentation if you wish.
Okay, take control. Okay, Perfect. So to go over the budget, you have a budget template on the website on the link that Anna shared with you, and where all our documents are present. Some key ideas before we even go over the template itself. This is a lump sum project, and all of your costs are eligible. You can have co-financing, so you can have other ways of leveraging or funding your project if you apply to a tier 2 project and you need more than what our grant gives. Then of course, if you have your own funds, you can support the remaining fund, but this is not necessary. So you can do a project with the 100% of the funds that we give. And then some other things that you can be aware of is that, of course, beneficiaries cannot make profit from the grant that we are doing. And as it was spoken of regarding the double proposals, not any possibility of double funding. So if you are receiving funding from other EU grants from or from other projects, note that those activities cannot overlap with the activities that you are to do in this project. Whatever you are intending to do for the community-led calls, that should be only funded by these funds, and it can't be a project that you are already doing with another funding. And regarding the payments, you receive one initial payment, so 35% of the requested budget once the subgrant agreement is signed, and then you have 2 reporting periods, one by the middle of the project and another one by the end of the project. So once your reports are approved, you receive 35% in the middle of the project and 30% at the end. Just make sure that you plan your own project given this, or that you can guarantee funds before that. There's no exceptions to how this is proceeds. Now, regarding the budget template, the budget template includes the final proposal, the proposal budget for everyone, and that is automatically calculated from the budget of each partner. And there you have all the Horizon Europe typical categories. And then you have, for each partner, you have the personal costs. Here is just an example that we have of what you put on each work package, what's the staff effort, the average monthly rate for each, and the totals. Then you have the travels and accommodation. So any travels that you must do for this project. There are some travels that are expected. Those are clearly indicated on the guidelines of what you need to do. And what we created as a rule, so you need to make sure that you follow this, is that if you are applying for tier 1, you must reserve at least 10% of the total project budget to travel, because you will need to participate in exchanges with other projects and with the SOS2LearnDBS consortium as well in other events. And if you are applying to tier 2, you must at least put on travel 4% of your total project budget. Again, this is all very clearly indicated in the guidelines. So here you must make sure that the final value at least guarantees that participation. Then you have the category of equipment. So anything that you must buy that is not, I don't know, flyers or notebooks, something small, you must put here. So any equipment that you buy for you to implement, whether it can be anything, especially on activities with restoration and with a lot of activity with the basins, it's normal that you will need equipment, and that should go here. This is if you buy equipment that you or a partner of yours will then implement, will then use and apply that equipment in an activity. Other goods can be anything that you might need on the project, smaller things, or budgets for some activities that you may implement with your communities, for example. On the subcontracting, there's a limit on subcontracting. This is the same limit that Horizon Europe projects have. So subcontracting should not exceed 30% of your total requested grant. because the idea is that the projects are carried out by the beneficiaries and not by a third party that is subcontracted. Subcontracting refers to any activity that you can do yourselves and you need to hire an external provider to do so. If you see that your goal of the project, the activities that you intend to do, are very they need this subcontracting, they need that partner to be part of your project, and if it's more than 30% of the total project grant, then we recommend that you include possibly that subcontractor as a beneficiary, as a partner in your consortium, if with 30% you cannot make it happen. Nonetheless, the activities should involve communities, should have more than just one layer, and you shouldn't just focus your whole project on the subcontracting. We have here's a link that we will share on the chat as well, with some tips on how to calculate the person month, so the rates of the people participating in your projects, as we know that for people who are less used to Horizon Europe, this is not so easy to calculate and understand. Here on the person month, this should be people that you have hired within your organizations. Can be permanent, can be people with a temporary contract, as long as they're part of your organizations, that you have a legal relationship with them. I hope this clarifies one of the questions that we had before. So going over to the Q&A, let's see what we have. There, we didn't place a financial limit for equipment, as long as it's equipment that then the organizations themselves can use, and can then, so with the equipment, do the actions necessary. You can also share that value, as you have a maximum amount per partner. You can share the value of the equipment with multiple partners if then you agree to do the contracting, to do the purchasing together, or with shifts of budget between yourselves.
There is one question here already from some minutes ago about the budget, which is about the staff costs. Will positions with permanent employees and self-employed persons be accepted in the project?
So yeah, as I was mentioning, if they are part of your organization, that's not a problem. The self-employment, it will depend on the conditions of that employment. So to be honest, I think it would be best for you to send us an email if you have that self-employed question with a lot of detail. You can subcontract self-employment persons, but if that's not really what you want and not what you're looking for, and you want to calculate them as person month in your staff rates, you can either have a legal relationship between your organization and them. So they can be a freelancer working for your organization, but with a clear link. Or if it's a different type of case, then I would request you to send us an email to SOS2LearnDBS@innova.business. So it's easier for us to check with our financial team, so that we don't give you an answer that might not exactly be the reality for the self-employment. But you can already have this view of the legal relationship between your organization and the self-employment. Positions of permanent employees, even temporary employees that you hire just for the project, that can be calculated in the person month of your organization on the budget.
Just to add that you will ask budget for personal in the budget template, and then how you distribute that money, it's up to you. Okay, so this, you will ask efforts on personnel that should be aligned with the activities that you are proposing, but then how you manage that, it in principle is up to you. But as Mariana said, send us an email and we will properly answer that.
There is another question. Has the SOS2Learn project produced any tools or instruments which can be used by the open call projects? I'm not exactly sure what kind of tools or instruments, but perhaps we can talk a little bit about the activities that will take place among the selected projects after the projects start. Can you talk a little bit about this, Catarina or Mariana? The question is if there are any
Yes.
tools or instruments which can be used by the open call projects.
Not at this stage. The idea is that later on, you will have a platform, a gaming platform online where you can use for your projects. And in the meantime, you will also, from the moment that your project starts, you will have capacity building activities, mentoring sessions, activities on the ground that will help you in implementing your activities and to learn as well at the same time. We will also be developing some guides on community-led type of activities, but that will be shared with the projects that are funded. So there will be tools and there will be more information for the open call projects, but only once they are funded, not at the application stage, as our internal deliverables and deadlines for the consortium, for the materials that the consortium produce are not yet ready. So those deadlines are for April, May, and so on, and then to start in September.
Thank you. Another question about if it is there a financial limit for equipment?
I think I've answered this one. There is not.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. I'm just checking others as well. For the flat rates, so the indirect costs, it applies the same as Horizon Europe. I think there's a question mentioning this. So there's a flat rate of 25% on direct costs, the same as a normal Horizons.
Okay, we are having a lot of questions about the consortium leader. We are pasting these in the Q&A, but we also in the chat. This is all on the guidelines, okay? But just to be clear, I'm gonna say it again. So for the consortium leader, it must be located in one of the following countries of the Black Sea region: Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Romania, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Poland, Italy, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Ukraine, Moldavia, Georgia, Turkey, or Albania. It also must be a legal entity established on or before 2023 with a minimum of 2 years of existence. And then the consortiums in general can be national based, all members of the same country, or international based, members of different eligible countries. International consortiums will be valued for their potential to enhance cross-border cooperation, knowledge exchange, and regional impact, okay? This is all in the guidelines, but I think it's important to highlight that. Sorry, Mariana, to interrupt, but we are having a lot of questions about this, and I just want.
Yes, don't worry. There's a lot of questions on other questions for financing. We will get your questions and answer them as we go on the chat, as otherwise we don't have time for all of them to keep with the time frame that we had. I just have here one that I think it's applicable for many people regarding the mandatory physical events. All project partners are expected to participate, only the applicant. So first, there will be some activities that will be closest to you, others not so much. The kickoff event that we will all have, those are expected to have, we would prefer to have at least one participant per organization. You don't need more than one participant per organization. If this is not possible for some reason on your case, we would still ask you to consider this on the budget, and then once the time arrives, you can see if for example, one organization cannot go for a certain reason to change with a partner from another organization and part of your consortium. But it is expected that you participate. And then there are other physical events that are located in your areas of implementation, and those, yes, everyone is expected to participate. Maybe not everyone from all the involved organizations, but you must guarantee that all organizations are present, as those will be done to help you. The mentoring sessions will be online, and for those, of course, everyone should be present as well. Now I will...
Just a related question to that we have is from Timea that asks, do you have any suggestion on how to plan it in the budget plan by event? What kind of venues and durations can we consider for these events? We do not have like a plan, but we do have like a guideline, okay, that needs to be followed. So the minimum budget to be reserved for joint activities with the consortium is appointed differently for funding tier 1 and tier 2. So for tier 1, a minimum of 10% of your total budget should be reserved for these types of activities. And for tier 2, a minimum of 4% needs to be reserved for these types of activities.
I would add that for the exact events and what is expected, you can go to the reporting requirements part of the guidelines 2.4.3. I can answer that question in writing to you as well, but you can already plan that for the kickoff event, you can reserve 1 day, 2 days, but we can keep it as after we receive the projects, we can ensure your participation, but it is the expected is 1 day there and then another day for the conclusion event. For the joint activities that are on the field, for that it's also 1 day. So you can at least expect 3 travels of 1 day. Those travels will always be on the Danube Basin region, so it makes it easier for your participation. The other type of capacity building events will be done online mostly, so you don't need to plan for those.
I will paste what you just said, Mariana, here in the chat.
Okay, thank you. And now, if you don't mind, we will move on to the evaluation criteria, as we also received a lot of questions from on that field. So we have 8 evaluation criteria, and for you to have a bit of an idea, the CLed applications will be evaluated by 3 jury members from our consortium, and then they will have a final assessment by an external independent evaluator. These evaluators will usually be based on a region that is different from the one of the applicant, from the one that the consortium applies to act on. So if your geographical focus is the Middle Danube, we will aim to find evaluators within our consortium that are not part of the Middle Danube. This is to ensure as most as possible some transparency and some clarity on the evaluation process. So first, you have the first evaluation criteria of advancement beyond current practices. So the idea is that you can show how your solution, how your proposal is innovative, considering what is the status quo in the region, in the specific region that you are applying. There's some actions that are more innovative for the Danube Delta, others are more innovative for the Upper Danube, and so you need to consider the status quo of the region, of the geographical focus that you are applying. You always need to make sure that you are addressing the local and the regional challenges, as that will help on advancing with the innovative solutions. And you also must make sure that on that you are addressing mission objectives and targets, that you are contributing to the advancement of the mission Ocean. And you can, of course, and this is encouraged on this one that is about advancement of current practices, to combine different types of innovation. So remind yourselves again that this is a community-led action. So yes, you have your innovations, your technological, nature-based innovations, for example, but you should also aim to tackle social and governance innovations. Then we have the community-led and participatory approach as the second evaluation criteria. So this one is to evaluate how your proposal actively involves the stakeholders and communities to ensure that there's inclusion, that the voices from the communities are represented in your project, namely vulnerable groups that usually don't have a voice in this type of projects, and that you build on local knowledge, on traditional knowledge, and that you link that with knowledge that is innovative and comes also from sustainability practices. Here is where the international consortium will be valued, has that enhances cross-border cooperation and knowledge exchange and creates more regional impact. A note that this evaluation criteria is the one that when there are ties in between proposals, this is the one that then is given a bigger weight on the final ranking. So if two proposals have the same final ranking of, let's say, 4.5, this proposal that has a better evaluated evaluation criteria too will be the one that moves forward in case of ties, as there's more weight given to this one. For the evaluation criteria 3, it's regarding social innovation and societal impact. So how social sciences, how social dimensions are integrated in your innovation. Then you have the dissemination and communication. So you should also have a clear communication and dissemination strategy and clearly identify what are the target audiences of your project and how you aim to reach them. The evaluation criteria 5 on feasibility and implementation capacity. It should reflect your own expertise, so the expertise of your consortium, what you are able to do, how you are able to do it. So it's here that your realistic planning, the way that you create a work plan, achievable objectives, your timeline, and your budget, because you need to make sure that your budget clearly reflects what you are proposing to do. This is where all of that is evaluated. Then on the evaluation criteria 6, commitment to the Charter of the Mission Ocean, you should have clear, specific measurable actions and targets. So from the list that we have on the guidelines, from all the information also available online on the EU mission, if you want to have even more sources than what we provide you on the guidelines, you should make sure that your actions, they will not, of course, reach your own proposal, will not be the one that reaches all the targets from the mission ocean, but you should make sure that you are clearly committing and contributing to multiple targets of the mission. Quality and relevance of the expected outcomes is the evaluation criteria 7. So here you should make sure that you have measurable results, that your outcomes are realistic and that they're not just out in the open and a bit less defined. They should be clear on how to measure, and they should also make sure that you should make sure that the relevance of those outcomes is reflected on the stakeholder needs, on the needs of the community you are supporting. And finally, the sustainability and scaling potential. So you should have a way to present how your project has an impact that is beyond the implementation, that creates lasting change, that it can find other fundings, others way to scale up, to do future partnerships that ensure that your project is not just something that is done once, but then does not have a lasting impact and does not create better conditions in the region. Finally, here on the evaluation criteria, we're just showing you the scores. This is part of the guidelines. So you have from a proposal failing to address the criteria and cannot be assessed because the consortium is not eligible or did not provide all the details, to the good, the very good, the excellent. Please note that each criteria, so each of the 8 criteria that I mentioned before, should have at least a scoring of 3.0 out of the 5 possible points. The total score per criteria, and then for the whole proposal, is, of course, an average of the scores given by each evaluator. And once more, clarifying here that is the participatory approach and community lab. So the evaluation criteria 2, that is the one that defines on ties. So instead of it being given just a score of a weight of 1, like the others, it will be given a 1.5 weights in case of ties by the end. And so now we can move forward to the Q&A on the evaluation criteria.